Welcome to the Rialto Marketing Podcast. Today's episode is a revenue acceleration series interview where we talk to seven-figure B2B business owners and their growth-focused executives who are actively trying to grow their business and get to the next level. We talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly so that you can learn from their experience. I am Tim Fitzpatrick with Rialto Marketing, where we believe marketing shouldn't be difficult. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in. I am super excited to have Crystal Conkle with me today from the 20 MSP. Crystal, welcome and thanks for being here.
Thank you, Tim. Excited to be here.
Yeah, I always love connecting with other marketers. I know we're going to have a great conversation. So before we jump into the heart of things, I want to ask you a few rapid fire questions if you're ready to jump in with both feet.
Perfect.
Okay. So very quickly, what do you do? How long have you been doing it?
I am Chief Marketing Officer for the 20, which is the 20 MSP, which is a nationwide MSP, and also for the 20, which is a growth platform for managed service providers. So I oversee channel development, brand marketing, demand gen, content strategy, partnership expansion, public relations, and I've been leading marketing in the MSP space for over a decade.
Okay, cool. Is that all you do? I mean, gosh.
I have an amazing team.
Yeah, well,
really incredible team.
That's, hey, as you grow, the what needs to get done expands. So I love it. What's the most important thing you've learned along the way?
That not everything has to be perfect. In terms of marketing, sometimes, it's about being done and not perfect. And I think that so many wait and they refine and refine and refine and the moment passes. And, you just got to move sometimes and get it out there. It's all about consistency versus perfection.
Yeah, I'm a recovering perfectionist. So
you and me both.
Yeah, done is better than perfect has always resonated with me. So which kind of leads me to my next question, right? We know marketing it's not easy, right? If it was, everybody would do it. There's ups and downs. Any kind of mantra that you say to yourself or share with your team to kind of push through those times of challenge?
One of my favorites would be you don't have to feel like it. You just have to do it. I'm a big believer in taking action, even when it's hard, because the momentum comes from doing and not waiting until you feel ready. So in line with what I've learned that I mentioned previously.
Yeah, I love it. You know what a lot of people don't think about too is as we take action, we learn, right? It helps us start building momentum. And once we have momentum, we just keep taking action. We learn from it. We adjust, reiterate, and we iterate, and we just continue to get better and better.
Absolutely. That's how you figure out what works and double down on that.
Yeah. I interviewed a marketer a few weeks ago who talked about ABT, in marketing. We'll always be testing. Always be testing, right? And I talk about test, measure, learn. It's just this constant iterative process. So I love that. Marketing is often cited as a challenge for MSPs. How have you guys approached building your marketing engine, that supports your growth? Because you guys are growing through acquisition and organic efforts. How do you approach it?
Right. So at the 20, we've built our marketing engine with scalability in mind. We have done a number of acquisitions. We've done 37 in the last 2.5 years. So again, it's about scalability, similar to what we do for our MSP operations. So that would be a combination of strong brand positioning, consistent messaging, data-driven strategies. For the acquisition specifically, our focus is on seamless brand integration. So making sure that the companies that we're acquiring align with our identity while also leveraging their unique strengths. On the organic side, it's about creating a sustainable engine that drives brand awareness, that nurtures leads, reinforces trust. Consistency is key, but flexibility is as well, especially in an industry that moves as quickly and evolves as quickly as the MSP space.
Do you have any idea? I love how you talk about, on the organic side, just having a sustainable engine. one of the biggest mistakes I see MSPs make is they just jump right into the tactics, and there's no fuel for the engine. They struggle to manage marketing. It's just like, let's just jump in and start doing stuff and throw stuff up against a wall and see what sticks. How with your marketing engine, do you have any idea how, on average, how long it takes people to kind of move through the engine itself, right? Like, how long do potential leads sit there before they're ready to raise their hand and
That's
say, I need help?
excellent question. And it's different on both sides of the house with the 20 MSP
Yeah,
automated service provider. The benefit there is that you're getting a lot of clients who are at their moment of need. And that's why strategies like Google pay-per-click are extremely effective, because
yeah,
they're searching when they're looking for an MSP, when they have an issue, when they're not happy with their MSP. Maybe they've grown and they want to outsource it for the first time.
yeah,
Whereas on the other side, with our growth platform, we find that MSPs do a lot of research before they end
yeah,
up deciding to become a member of the 20. It is a big change to their business. And so it's a longer buying cycle.
yeah. Because I think so. That's interesting. So on the MSP side, especially with pay-per-click, you're targeting people that are further down the buyer's journey, that are closer to buying. Um, I think a lot of MSPs are they're using tactics with the thought that people are further down the buying engine or the buyer's journey, when they're not.
Right. And we see that too. And that's why it's important, that your marketing strategy should encompass different channels, not just pay per click. You can't just do one thing. I always say there's no magic pill, but that's where, drip emails, social content, all of those things, work, because they might be in a contract for a year, but you want to be top of mind when they're ready to make a change.
Yes.
And so you have to approach it from both
Yeah.
aspects.
So part of that, but all these pieces come together, to create the engine. And it, if you don't have a way to nurture people and stay in front of them, you're not going to be there when that trigger moment happens.
Right.
And and that's where I think a lot of MSP struggles. They just don't have the engine to stay in front of people consistently, right? Because
Absolutely.
we can't create the desire to buy. It's
Right.
a trigger moment that is happening, going, oh my gosh, like my current MSP dropped the ball, or I had a cyber attack. I need to do something different. Who is that?
Right.
Who do
And
I
that's
need to reach out to?
right. That's why you see so much of what you described previously that I call like the spray and pray method. And a
Yeah,
lot of MSPs don't have a marketing hire. They have an assistant or someone who's kind of dabbling in it, maybe even an
yeah,
intern or, one of their kids. And so they're not consistent with it. And so they're missing out on a lot of those opportunities.
yeah, yeah. You had touched on this, that you guys have acquired a lot of MSPs in the last 2.5 years. Um, as you continue to acquire, how does that change your marketing approach, or does it?
Great question. I think that our growth through acquisitions has forced us to be more intentional about brand cohesiveness, while still honoring the local strengths of the MSPs we acquire. So early on, our marketing was heavily centralized in Texas, specifically the DFW area. But as we scaled, we adopted a more layered approach, which balances the 20's national brand with those localized marketing efforts. That way, it maintains authenticity in different markets.
Yeah,
Um, we've also prioritized internal marketing, ensuring that all of our employees are aligned with the brand vision, because obviously they're our most powerful ambassadors. And where that gets really, really powerful is through these roll ups, the acquisitions that we're doing. Those are MSPs who have been members of the 20, most of them for years. And so they fully stand behind our brand vision, and it works really, really well.
so because of that, is there a lot of overlap in their tech stacks with what you're already doing in the 20 MSP?
No, that's the great thing. And that's what makes these acquisitions so seamless. The reason we've been able to do so many is the integration is really, really, really smooth because
It's
they're
tight.
aligned. They are. I mean, it's impressive what we do within 60 days of acquiring them. But they're already lined up, so they're on the same tech stack. They're using the same sales process. They're operating the same way that we do because they're members of the 20, and so
Yeah.
it's really, really smooth. In terms of marketing, what we find is a lot of them are not doing marketing. They're getting, referrals, word of mouth. They've grown that way and kind of plateaued. But you do find some who are doing different things than we are. And so, we kind of integrate that in, evaluate it. Okay, does that work in their market? Is that something that we want to add to our marketing strategy?
Yeah. But because you guys already have that overarching marketing engine in place, once they're integrated in, they're just coming into the fold. And
Absolutely. It's just rinse and repeat.
yeah, it's I love your model. Because a lot of the companies that I come across that are acquiring MSPs do not themselves already have a marketing engine in place.
Right.
Which I think, well,
And
you and
that's
I are biased, but
absolutely, no, I'm something I'm really passionate about, and I think that you see a lot of that with the M&A activity in this industry. They're lobbing on acquisitions, but they don't have that organic growth, and they think
yeah,
that they can overcome that with acquisitions, and you have to have both.
yeah, yeah. Well, I was just talking to somebody earlier today who was talking about acquisitions, and he said that there's a depending on the company, there can be a fair amount of attrition with acquisitions, especially like at year 2, 3. So I don't know. My guess is based on your system and how you guys are doing it. You're not seeing nearly as much as some.
No, that's the beauty of this model. Our attrition is very, very low. So the MSPs that we're acquiring, their clients are already familiar with us.
Yeah,
Their employees have been working in conjunction with the 20 for years, and so attrition is super, super low.
that goes back to your point about focusing on brand,
Right.
right? And so it's not, oh my gosh, they just got acquired and now we're dealing with so and so. Like, what is that creates a lot of uncertainty for clients,
Oh,
right? And
absolutely. Absolutely. It makes the communication process very, very smooth post acquisition because they've already seen that name. A lot of our members use a logo under theirs is powered by the 20. And
okay,
so our help desk is an extension of theirs. And like I said, their clients are used to interacting with the 20 help desk. And so really it's just very small updates and name, logo,
yeah.
billing, and they've been very, very happy with it because they're happy with the service that they receive from the 20.
Yeah. So they, even if they're not intimately familiar with the 20 MSP, they've seen the 20 in the acquisitions branding in some way, shape, or form, or their interaction with that company. They've
Right.
seen the 20. So it's not something new.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And for most of our members, like I said, they're familiar with the logo, and they'll see it on their shirts. Like the MSP will have their logo on the chest and then the 20 logo, on the sleeve. And so
Okay.
they understand what it is. They're using it in their sales pitch too. That's one of our, most powerful offers for MSPs in joining the 20 is they're able to go out and close those bigger deals. And so they're very transparent about being partnered with the 20 because it expands their capabilities and they
Yeah.
can take on much larger clients than they could otherwise.
Yeah. So they're using it to position themselves like, hey, we may be an MSP of 10 people, but we've got all these resources behind us.
Right. We have offices nationwide. If they have multiple locations, we can support you in any city in the US and so
Yeah.
Canada. And so it makes the sales process really incredible. Gives
Yeah.
an edge for sure.
How are for MSPs that are joining the 20 group, how is that structured? Like, are they paying a membership fee? What do they do?
No, they don't pay a membership fee. It's all consumption based.
Okay.
So they're
Got
using
it.
the tech stack. And we did acquire Collaborants last year as well. So previously we were a Kaseya house, and now we've expanded. So we have members who are on Kaseya stack, also on ConnectWise.
Got it. So they're paying for the services that you guys are helping them fulfill.
Correct. At a much better rate. We're getting much better pricing than they can get on their own just because of volume. So it's a single funnel buying process.
Yeah. So it helps them leverage the power of many, even though they might be quite small.
Absolutely. They're getting the price, that someone would get with hundreds of thousands of endpoints versus their maybe 200 or 500.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. So for MSPs that are struggling with marketing, what would your top 3 tips be to help them?
I think number one would be consistency over perfection. Like we talked about before, too many MSPs and too many people think that marketing has to be perfect. And so they get stuck waiting for that perfect message, for that perfect content.
Yeah.
And it's so much more important to focus on consistent, authentic communication, whether you're working on content, social media, email marketing. Like I said before, marketing doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be done.
Yeah.
Number 2, know your audience. Don't try to speak to everyone. You can't be everything to everyone. So it's very important to clearly identify your ideal client and to build your messaging around them so that it speaks directly to their pain points, their goals. That way, when you're creating content, it's about solving their problems.
Yeah, I love it. And by the way, for those watching, listening, I did not pay Crystal to say that. Because when we talk about helping clients build the marketing engine, the first element in strategy is your target market. Who are you serving? Who are your ideal clients? And from there, once you understand them, then you can create a message, right? Because a lot of MSPs are targeting far too broadly. Their message is too broad. It looks the same as everybody else. And, you cannot create a good message until you know who the hell you're trying to reach. So
Absolutely. That should always be the foundation.
Yeah.
And then third, I would say measure and adjust. Marketing is not a set it and forget it function. Track your metrics, analyze what's working, figure out what's not working. That way you can double down on what is working. Always be willing to adjust and pivot. The best marketing engines are built on data. That way, when you figure out what works, create scalable processes around it.
Yeah.
And continue to refine and improve.
Measure and adjust, right? Like we make mistakes all the time as marketing. Most of the marketing we do doesn't work, but it's that testing and that constant iteration that helps us get to what works.
Right.
Right. I want to related to, you mentioning like know your audience. Given that you guys are acquiring people, MSPs all over the country, you continue to grow, you're serving across various industries. How do you approach marketing to a broad audience, right? Are you very specific with certain campaigns? How do you do that?
So you're absolutely right. The 20s client base spans essentially all verticals. I mean, we're talking financial services, legal, and nonprofits. That list just goes on and on if they're green. So we take a hybrid approach. Our core messaging focuses on universal business outcomes that will resonate across industries. So security, efficiency, growth. But within that framework, we tailor campaigns so that they address industry-specific pain points when necessary. So I think it's all about balance.
Yeah.
That unified brand strategy that can flex to meet the nuanced needs of different verticals. And really, when you're talking about that in terms of IT, that's just the application layer. The foundation of managed IT support is the same. I mean, we're managing, their devices, their servers, all of that. So we also rely heavily on storytelling, on showcasing client success, stories that highlight our impact in different industries, but without diluting the core brand.
Yeah, got it. So I want to reiterate this. So from a messaging standpoint, universal business outcomes, which look, in reality, they all want the same thing, right?
They just want their IT to work.
Yeah. but the messaging is targeted on specific campaigns that you're doing. So whether that might be, I mean, it could be content that you're creating, it could be, specific Google ad campaigns. That stuff is much more targeted.
Right.
Got it. And what about with email? Are you with such a large audience? Are you segmenting your audience into verticals? Are you getting that deep into it?
We
With email?
are. Obviously, we have an overarching drip campaign that focuses on those core issues we talked about, but we have segmented it and are targeting particular industries or specific industries.
So you might send a specific industry case study to that specific.
Right. It would have maybe a video. We have industry-specific case study videos, so it would, include a video or link to a landing page focused on their industry.
Yeah. Cool. I love it. Let's talk about AI. We can't talk about marketing without talking about AI, right?
Right.
What are you guys seeing? How are you utilizing AI within your marketing efforts?
I would say AI has already greatly transformed how we approach content creation, data analysis, even lead gen. We've integrated AI tools to improve efficiency, so drafting, editing content, optimizing campaigns in real time. We've also seen AI enhancing products that we're already using. So, for example, HubSpot, Google Performance Max has been incredible for pay-per-click, Microsoft Copilot, a lot of really great tools. But it's not just about automation, it's about amplification. And so AI has really helped us scale our efforts without losing the human touch, because I think that is so, so critical in B2B marketing.
Yeah.
And moving forward, I really see AI playing a bigger role in predictive analytics, in terms of enabling businesses to anticipate customer behavior, to optimize campaigns, to personalize content at scale. And I think that will drive hyper-personalized marketing and dynamic content strategies that are able to adapt to audience behavior in real time. And so again, the key, I think, is to use AI as an enhancer, not a replacement for authentic connection. You don't want to lose that, because that's the heart of your marketing.
Yeah. Do you, for with content creation, are you using any specific tools that you guys like with AI for that?
Like I mentioned, HubSpot has great built-in tools. So when we're doing things in HubSpot, we use those that are built in: Microsoft Copilot, ChatGPT, Claude. I feel like the list goes on and more.
There's so many
popping up. And I do love, like I mentioned, the tools that we're already using that are integrating AI. And I think we're going to see more of that. And that's what we need to be, looking towards to really future-proof our marketing strategy.
Yeah. With analytics, are you using AI to analyze analytics within tools like HubSpot already, or are you actually taking data out of those and putting it into a chat GPT to have it analyze that data? How are you approaching that?
Great question. I think a combination of both.
Okay. Yeah. So sometimes you're actually taking data and then popping it into ChatGPT and just start asking it questions.
Right. And I always caution people, be careful what you're putting out there.
Yeah.
I mean, most people are using the paid version anyway, the professional version. And so it is more secure, but, just be careful what you're putting out there. Don't put out any proprietary information.
Yeah. And make sure that you're not sharing your data to train the model, right?
Exactly. And then search gets me really excited in terms of AI. I think that it's become so important to position your business to be recommended by AI tools like ChatGPT. That way, when prospects are searching for an MSP, you're going to pop up. And so what's key there is creating content that AI can pull from. We're seeing more of that. And it's different than Google, because unlike Google and traditional search engines, the AI models prioritize that natural conversational response. And so you want to optimize for that.
I want to break this down a little bit, because I think this is a really good point. What was happening before AI, right, was you're creating content so that you can rank in search, so that when somebody goes to Google, they see you listed there and they click on that and it takes them to that particular article or that page on your website. That is starting to shift with AI use, right? Because people are going into tools like ChatGPT or Perplexity or whatever it may be to get information. So they may not be clicking through to go to your website. But if they go into a ChatGPT and say, give me the top 10 MSPs in Dallas, you want to show up there. And what you're saying is content still plays a vital role in your ability to show up in searches like that through AI. Is that right?
100%.
Okay.
When you think about AI visibility, it's about creating that relevant, high quality content, getting listed by trusted sources, and really ensuring that your brand has a strong digital footprint.
Yeah.
Because if that's not out there, then AI has nothing to pull from. I think this is such a huge opportunity, and most businesses aren't doing it yet. And so I think that those who jump on this and move fast have a real competitive edge.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. I also think that it's also going to make social a lot more important. The content that you're putting out on social, that's another way that people are going to find you. And if you're not consistently out there posting on social, I think you're going to be missing out. No.
Oh, I absolutely agree. And I think that's twofold. And that ties back to AI too, because when you're active on LinkedIn and those industry forums, that's where AI tools are finding their insights.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just pointing to the importance of taking an omni or multi-channel approach with your marketing. You can't rely on just one thing or two things. You need to be consistent across multiple channels.
Yes. And social, like you said, it's so important in that human aspect of it. And that's where, people are able to scroll and consume your content as they come across it. They're not being, their day's not being interrupted with a call,
Right.
email. And so it's super, super important.
Yeah. So even though content creation moving forward may not drive as much traffic to your website, to that particular piece of content creation is still going to play a critical role moving forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. I love it. This has been fantastic. I want to ask you one last question before we wrap up. Knowing what you know now, anything you would do differently?
Honestly, I've always believed in going all in on marketing, and I don't regret that. But if I had to do something differently, I'd move even faster. In hindsight, which is always 2020, there were times that I knew the right move, but I hesitated, whether it was launching a new campaign, shifting a strategy, making a key hire. Growth rewards speed, and I've learned that when you see the opportunity, take it, jump on it.
Yeah. Risk versus reward, right?
Yes.
Crystal, thank you so much for taking the time. I appreciate you doing so. Where can people connect with you?
Thank you, Tim. I've enjoyed this conversation. The best method for reaching out, connecting with me is LinkedIn. I think you're adding my LinkedIn URLs on there. And then you can learn more about the 20 MSP at the20msp.com. If you are a managed service provider, you can learn more about the 20 growth platform at the20.com.
Cool. I love it. We'll make sure all those are in the show notes. And if you want to connect with Crystal on LinkedIn, do that. And it's Crystal with a C and then Conkle with a C as well. But we'll make sure all those links are in the show notes so you can connect with her. And thank you again. I appreciate you taking the time. I know there was a ton of value that you shared here. And hey, if you're an MSP, there's a ton of value here. Even if you're not, the fundamentals that we talked about today are applicable no matter what. So thank you, Crystal. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Those of you,
great conversation.
Yeah, awesome. Appreciate it. And those of you that are watching and listening, I appreciate you as well. If you want to connect with us, do it over at rialtomarketing.com or over at revenueroadblockscorecard.com. When we help clients build their engine, we focus on 9 key components. If you want to know which of those 9 are slowing down your growth, that's where you can do it. So go check it out. Thank you. Until next time, take care.